the city struggles to feed itself. So Berduskans, tired of river fish, mainly silverfin, eels, and more silverfin, will always buy food. Bakeries are now growing more numerous in the city, and a local tradition of seasoned savory buns, particularly cheese buns, is growing.
Hail and well met, and welcome back to another Realmslore video. I am here with the original creator of the Forgotten Realms, Sir Ed Greenwood himself. And today we're talking about a very interesting location in the Realms, and I'm going to let Ed fill you in.
Sure. So it's 1499 DR, right now, in the Realms. And you are in the city of Berdusk. Jewel gleaming bright, the jewel of the Vale. What's around you and what's going on? That's what our video is about. What's going on in Berdusk in 1499 DR?
If you're enjoying these Realmslore videos, please be sure to check out our Patreon. That's patreon.com/EdGreenwood. And if you become a protector of the Realms there, it actually helps support the videos that we're creating here for you now. So, in the meantime, please enjoy this video on Berdusk.
Jewel gleaming bright. What's afoot in the city of Berdusk in 1499 DR? Berdusk, the jewel of the Vale, Sunset Vale in this case, has always been an important trading city, as it stands where the River Chionthar and the Uldun Trail meet. Those interested in factions know it's home to Twilight Hall, the only central base for the Harpers. What strikes the eye? Berdusk has grown over the last century, a lot. More than a third of the city on the north bank of the Chionthar now lies outside the walls, mainly to the east, and there's a sizable unwalled sprawl south of the river that's now neighborhoods where several thousand folk live, not just, as it was in the mid-1300s DR, a cluster of paddocks, inns, wagon works, and a tavern or two. The south bank part of the city is known locally as Winddown, wind down, with wind pronounced like the moving air, and not like the action of winding string or thread around something, is primarily brick, ground floors with timber and stucco above and tile roofs. Buildings in the older part of the city across the river are increasingly being re-roofed in tile or, for the grandest buildings, slate, as their cedar shingles wear out. Streets in Winddown are mud and gravel, save for the major caravan roads, but streets in Old Berdusk, north of the river, are now cobbled throughout. Cellars are rare in Winddown, but common in the older, walled part of the city north of Chandelier Street, the continuation within the walls of the riverfront road linking the paddocks and upriver mills. Local trade. As well as a transshipment point and a base for several trading costers, Berdusk remains a Harper stronghold, and under their protection, generations of artisans have flourished, making the city a thriving center of skilled carpentry, smithing, and crafting. Throughout the 1400s DR, Berdusk has exported a lot of everyday useful furniture, tools, housewares, that is pottery, hinges, locks and hasps, pots and pans and cutlery, and draperies, as well as fripperies such as decorative statues, stylish lanterns, and small wall paintings. Landscapes, dragons flying over castles, and portraits of types of folk like the stern old smith and the simpering courtesan are popular. Berduskan crafters make and sell a steady stream of well-made housewares, tinderboxes, locks with sets of keys, strongbox coffers, and tools that merchants can readily resell elsewhere. However, the city struggles to feed itself, so Berduskans, tired of river fish, mainly silverfin, eels, and more silverfin, will always buy food. Bakeries are now growing more numerous in the city, and a local tradition of seasoned savory buns, particularly cheese buns, is growing. The first folk. Over the past century, a local nobility, the wealthy who wisely sponsored others and so became even more wealthy and able to go on sponsoring others, in addition to enriching themselves by building granaries and warehouses all can rent space in, has grown in Berdusk. These first folk consist of 20 or so families, a few large, most small, who appoint a ruling high lord or high lady from among their number by horse trading, bribery, and then a secret vote. The most influential among these noble families remain, The houses of Calansol, Hardomir, Muirmast, Quarlagast, and notorious locally for madness in the family, a reputation that began when the spell plague hit, and several Quarlagast mages went spectacularly, energetically mad and destroyed many buildings in the city until slain. Most of the current family are believed to be skilled wielders of the art, and Speruthal. House Calansol are proud, prickly, and down the generations have always hired sword masters to train them to become deadly sword wielders, duelists. House Speruthal is just as proud and perhaps the wealthiest of all Berduscan first folk. They're known for upholding tradition, resisting all change. House Hardomir is known for being blonde, handsome, big-boned, and ruthless, hard bargainers who are only a few coins less wealthy than their bitter rivals, the Speruthals. They are big landlords and warehouse owners in Berdusk. House Muirmast are the one first folk family who work with crafters, because they make their coins making thousands of small loans to crafters. They insist on strict payment, but are respected among Berduskans because they know they will do better when humble crafters do better, and often work to connect crafters with costers who can get wares to the best-paying markets, like Waterdeep, or places of relatively low competition, like Baragost, or arrange loans without coin, the use of carts and draft oxen, horses, or mules swapped for warehouse space or food. House Calansol is headed by Patriarch Havrandrar Calansol, lawful neutral, human male, fighter 7, a once handsome, pompous old stiffneck. House Hardomir is headed by Patriarch Hardolfin Hardomir, chaotic neutral, human male, fighter 8, a fat drunkard of a former brawler who holds grudges and can be childishly spiteful. He's been sternly told to stop feuding by several high lords and ladies in a row now. House Muirmast is headed by Matriarch Gilandra Muirmast, lawful neutral human feel, cleric 3rd of Joaquin, a lapsed priestess who remains sympathetic to the faith and liked by local clergy of the Coin Maiden. She's a crisply pleasant gossip who's also a busy, tireless networker with a peerless memory for faces, names, and agreements. House Carlagast is headed by Matriarch Orglara Carlagast, chaotic evil, human female, wizard 14, an icily superior, suffer-no-fools tyrant who loves intrigue and double crossings and other dirty dealings. She hungers to accumulate ever more spell scrolls and books of magic, and has her own hidden arsenal of magic items against the day of strife she's sure will soon come, when Carlagasts must slay others who conspire against them, or die. House Speruthal is headed by Matriarch Rahul Randra Speruthal, neutral evil, human female, thief 4, a big-boned clothes horse who's constantly having her hair redone or purchasing new and grander wigs to go with her ever-expanding wardrobe of fine display gaudy wealth gowns. She uses this grand manner to conceal her shrewd, steel-sharp mind and skill at crafting new swindles. High lords and ladies. The current ruler of Berdusk is High Lady Lashantha Duam, who takes and heeds advice in secret from the Harpers, and so rules far more wisely than most first folk would be likely to. As a result, she's increasingly unpopular with, and mistrusted by, the first folk, but more and more popular and trusted by all other Berduskans. Her predecessor was High Lord Hulbert Narthello, ruled 1461 to 1479 DR, who succeeded High Lord Ormran Reldrar, who ruled 1442 to 1461 DR, upon Ormran's sudden death from greenskin fever. Ormran succeeded High Lord Beldrin Longyears Lanshin, ruled 1419 to 1441 DR, who was a stolid, careful, rather humorless man who provided Berdusk with its greatest stability, largely by doing as little as possible. In 1397 DR, Berdusk's first folk selected Ingarim Conter as High Lord, and he ruled capably for 2 decades until perishing of winter chill in the depths of the hard winter of 1418 DR. Conter was named High Lord because High Lady Celeria Dragonbreast was increasingly afflicted by the periodic mania that beset her throughout her life. She vanished circa 1396 DR, and her fate is unknown. The Harpers informed Berdusk that she'd perished in the fall of that year, but they never spoke of her death to fellow Harpers, and city rumor has her going mad, taking another name, and wandering off across Faerun, or seeking refuge in Everesca or Evermeet. But then, city rumors have Harpers doing many, many wild and odd things. The politics of today. Right now, Berdusk is dominated by squabbles, not quite open feuds, but trade disputes through proxies between rival nobles who unite on only one issue: preventing the formation of local guilds, or breaking up those that do form before they can wield any useful power. In this, they've thus far succeeded, but their worst excesses have been sharply curbed by merchant costers using the city as a way base, and by the Harpers of Twilight Hall. Currently, an underground whisper-in-doorways workers' collective known as the Shadow Guild is trying to force a code of laws on the High Lady that will treat First Folk members the same as any other citizen, and accord visitors most of the same rights. The First Folk have branded the Shadow Guild as a local chapter of the Shadow Thieves of Om, or perhaps the Shadow Masters of Telflam, or both, but this is utter fiction, intended to frighten Berduskans into not supporting the nascent guild. It's not working, so the nobles are playing for time. The Red Wizards as well as the Zhentarim see opportunities in this dispute. The former are covertly offering to sponsor the many small, less powerful First Folk families, such as the Elverkans, the Daifars, the Elendors, the Brevens, the Jalarks, the Myrtals, and the Tartandriths, and the latter are trying to buy High Lady Lyshantra Duarm, who loathes them but doesn't want to be assassinated, and so is acting as if she's leaning towards secretly working for them, but reporting everything to the Harpers, who are pursuing a very deft program of arranging fatal accidents for the Zents who contact the High Lady that can't by any reasonable person be thought to have any involvement at all on her part. One faction among the local crafters wants greater recognition in the city's governance. The millers, who operate grist mills and lumber mills upriver of the city, and thanks to their remote locations are customarily largely ignored. They're currently seeking First Folk families to ally with to get more clout, so far without much success. And that's the Berdusk of right now, in the proverbial nutshell, or, as the Faerunian saying has it, in the palm of thy own trusted hand. Hi, welcome back to Realmspeak, and this time around, we're doing this. And this is SAHUAGIN, or SAHUAGIN. But most people on the Sword Coast of the Realms pronounce it SAHUAGIN. Neither one is wrong. Both are correct. And there are other variations too, depending on where you put the emphasis in the word, or the emphasis, if you prefer. But in any case, these are the rather nasty, rather aggressive and territorial aquatic race that has their own cities, their own territories, and very much resents humans in most cases, and merfolk and sea elves in particular. So, SAHUAGIN, or SAHUAGIN. Both are correct. And both means you should avoid them.
Nice. Jewel Gleaming Bright. What's afoot in the city of Berdusk? Is it Berdusk or Berdusk?
Berdusk.
Berdusk?
Berdusk.
Yes, sir.
Berdusk. 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 The fourth, who's a... Okay. I'm always... No, I'm not. Not really. I'm full of this. Oh, yes. I'm fine with that.
How many videos has that circle been like that before?
It ain't good?
Back up so the felt is on your head.
Okay. Hi, honey.
There you go. Yep.
Okay.
So the felt is touching me.
Is it crooked now?
No, you're good now.
Okay.
Yeah, we just need to. You're giving more Janis Joplin than Conan the Barbarian.
Back up. I may have made a mistake. Keep going, keep going. Keep going, another screen. Keep going. Keep going. Yeah, it's this one. Okay, yeah. There we go. Let's start with House Carlagast. Yeah, they're right there.